Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. I'm rushing to get a knife out here. Yeah, I've been looking forward to opening this. It came a day or two ago actually, and it kind of came from Cavanos originally. Cavanos had a load of boards and manufactured an Amiga sound card, and he sent the two Sparks, and he sent a few other things. I think he sent a back plate as well. I'm not sure whether that's here. I think it might be. To a bunch of people in my Discord who all expressed interest in Cavanos's production run, and Barry's kindly packaged it up and sent it off. Now I thought I was going to have to pay for this, and I think we got a really good deal. It was like £100 or so thereabouts, $100 or something like that. It's like 100 was the figure I had in my head, thereabouts. I think it worked out a little bit cheaper. I think Cavanos managed to find a really good deal. I'm not suggesting that that's how much they'll be moving forward if you want Cavanos to build you on as a, you know, a friend, because it's one of these projects where no profit's got to be made. It's got their gadget. Thank you ever so much, Cavanos, and all the people that contribute. So that's what I cut myself off there. I was saying I thought I was going to have to come up with some money for this, and well, just after Christmas here, money's quite tight. Tight before Christmas, and I made the point then before Christmas when Cavanos was sorting them out. Can I sort of like Bagsy one and then pay you later, like after Christmas? And he was like, yeah, no worries, which was really kind of him. But all the people in the Discord, including Cavanos, have all got together, paid for this for me, which is just incredible. It's like when Barry told me this the other day, it almost brought me to tears again. I've just had so much financial problems this year, I really have. So it's very, very sincerely appreciated. I can't thank you enough. It's absolutely amazing. I'll show you who contribute towards it in a second. Yeah, so we have got the back plate here. I forget who it was. It's a good friend of Cavanos's that did this. He's got a lot of respect in the community. Quite a few people know of him, but I am not aware of the guy. That looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's not got what I thought it had on it. One of these, I'll show you a picture in a minute. One of these I was shown had a picture of on there, etched onto it. It looked quite cool actually the way it had been done, but that's not on all of them. Thank God. It's not something I'm going to have to hide from the wife. She'll be like, what on earth's that? What's that there? And someone made me laugh. I think it was, who was it? I can't remember. Someone made me laugh in my Discord before saying, what's this wee PCB? Audiot board. So I think this goes in the video slot on a 2000 or on a 4000. And taps off the audio. It says there, pull that out. So that's an optional thing if you've not got some sort of card in your machine that's got a tap off for the audio. Now I'm going to put this in my 4000 definitely. I'll take the SID card out of there because I've got no slots free. This is infinitely better than a SID card, without a doubt. So it's an Amiga. It's based on the Gravis Ultrasound chipset, as far as I understand. Which is, you know, an incredible thing, because the Gravis Ultrasound, let me get the wrist strap on. Gravis Ultrasound was like, you know, the creme de la creme of PC sound cards. Look at that, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Look how long it is. It's as long as an Amstrad CPC. It's a full-length card. The amazing thing with this is that Cavanos has managed to get these assembled pretty much. I don't think he's had to do anything to them. I think they were just pre-assembled by JLC PCB. That board's so large, I can't even see it in one thing. I've got to like scroll around it. I'd have to view it from about a metre away or something. So yes, we've got left and right audio out here. I think we've got line in. What on earth is that? Oh, that's a Toslink, isn't it? It's got optical audio out as well. We've got some little transistors there. Oh, voltage regulators actually. 7805, LM7905, 7909. So we've got some old school voltage regulators there. Quite a lot of SMD caps on there. That looks gorgeous, doesn't it? We've got an Altera FPGA there. It's a 10M08 SCE144C8G. Yeah, Altera Max 10. Got some RAM there. I'm guessing that's the 32 meg because it has 32 meg of wavetable RAM, this card. What else have we got? And this is the interesting thing, is like I was expecting like a couple of big customs on it, but I don't see any. None at all. We've got like a tiny little thing here. Yeah, it's marked V S1063A. It's tiny, that thing. Unless it's all done in the FPGA here. I could be wrong here. It could be all done in the FPGA. Someone could have recreated the Gravis Ultrasound in an FPGA. Maybe that's how this is working. Got a Burr Brown op amp there, I think it is. I can see the BB. God, no expense spared on this. Yeah, BB. PCM 1794. That might actually be a PCM chip or something, because it's got PCM in a few places and on the silk screen. We've got some op amps and things up here, I think. Let's just have a look further down here. Another PCM chip there, PCM 1862. So I'm not sure what that is, a PCM chip, I'm guessing. And then down this side here, yeah, bus transceivers and stuff, 245s, 244s, 245s, 244, 244, some 74 series, an 08, is that a NAND? Or an AND, I forget which, an LSO5. I can't remember what an LSO5 is. Yeah, open collector is what I was thinking there, an 05. Yeah, so actually there's not a massive amount of custom chips on there, really. There's just the few small op amps and PCM things around here. We've got RAM and an FPGA and then just buffers and a little bit of logic. So it's quite simple. It's a nice card though, isn't it? I like the colour as well, black, because it's going to go with the other cards that I've got in my 4000. Because I've got the black RTG card, you'll see the link for that top right, and I've got a black BFG, and then I've got a black Live 2, Gotta Go Faster 3, Zora 3.1, 256 meg, and then we've got this. I'm trying to think, is there something else in there? Oh, I've got an A2091 as well, sorry, 4091, yeah, and that'll be coming up soon, and that's black. So yeah, all black. I quite like. It's a shame a motherboard's not black, but I'm not that fussed, and I quite like my original motherboard there from Stephen Leary. It's got a JTAG header up here, but from what I understand, there's certainly the later firmwares you can update via software. You can use the Amiga and run a utility or something and flash the latest firmware onto that. That's really nice. So the temptation might be to get this on a test board or something, but I think I'm just going to get the 4000 on the bench and stick it straight in the 4000 and wire this up. Yeah, so you've got the Paula in connections here, look. You've got CD-ROM in. So you've got three different lots of inputs, haven't you? You've got line in, you've got CD-ROM in, and you've got Paula in. Exp out. I'm not sure what that's for. Yeah, so I'll get some DuPonts or something, I think, and connect up the Paula in to the breakout connections I've got on the AGA Multifix. And I think the AGA Multifix is tapping off in the way that this would, but my AGA Multifix is in that slot, if that makes sense. Yeah, and a quick check here, because I was just thinking, I'm going to use a DuPont from there to the AGA Multifix, and from there, what about the grounds? And if I just test to, so the grounds here. Yep, they're both joined up to ground. I mean, we could go a stage further and test to the Zorro ground here. I can't remember where it is, it's one of the end ones on one side or the other. It's not there, is it? It must be on the underside. We could test on the 7.4 series, that's good enough, isn't it? So if I test there to there, dead short 000. So I don't need the second and third connections there, I just need the outer, the first and the fourth pin. One for left channel, one for the right channel. Right, I've got the 4000 sat on the chair here at the moment. I'm going to get the plate on, because we're going to stick it straight in. I'm not even going to test it on a test board. I could get the 4000 board out or a 2000 board out. I just want to get it straight into my machine. I'll take the SID card out and fit this in. So it's going to go like, does it go on the underside? Or yes, it does. It sits on the underside like that, I think. Well, it seems to. Oh, these screws that are not magnetic again. Yeah, the gap's equidistant and stuff around those, so I'm confident it goes on the back like that there. Anyway, let's just move that out of the way. But yeah, we just need to get rid of the two screws here. Yeah, the top of my 4000 has got the odd little scratch on it and stuff. It was really beaten up when I got this. If you watch the original restore of this machine, there'll be a link to it top right. You see, I think last time I went inside this is what I did. I removed that nut there and went, oh my god, you can slide the case on and off properly when that nut's not in the way. And of course, yeah, getting it on when the nut's not there is easy. Getting it off now is a problem. There you go, it's coming off now. So there's a tip for you. If you want to get the lid off for 4,000, get it back on, always remove that front nut. Yeah, so it's looking really nice in here. It's all black. Where's the SID card? Oh, it's right in the middle, isn't it? Oh, would be. Let's pull the A4091 out again. Oh, there we go. Another non-magnetic screw dropping on the floor. Get the wrist strap on. I'm like a kid in a candy shop again. It's like my favourite thing to say in recent videos. It's felt like that for months, and the thing is, it's because I've kept all the best till last, you could argue. I hope it's not last, but what I mean is I've just kept all the cool stuff like this that I need to look at, and seem to be doing it all at the same time. Then new things are arriving at the same time, which are even, you know, just as cool, like the sound card. Oh, now this is going to be a problem, because I've not got a slot for the thing there. Strictly speaking, I could move. Yeah, the problem I've got is this, the compact flash. Now, maybe I can move the compact flash up to there. Hang on a minute, where's this going to go though? Oh, this could go where the compact flash is. It's a sad day really, because this SID card has been in here for about 3 years, I think, roughly. I can't get it out now. So, it's just got a nano swing SID on it. That'll probably go into my 2000. Right, let's now try and get the Amiga in. This is going to be fun, isn't it, with all these cables everywhere. Like this one. And this power thing. Why is it there like that? Oh, Joe, I don't think this is going to go in. I think for the moment, let's just move this compact flash card back out again, because I can't see what's going on there with the power thing for it, and we might need to undo that power thing. When I say power thing, I mean the Molex chain from hell here, this wire. Oh, it's the optical thing. Yeah, that optical thing there that sticks right out. That's it. I'll try and now push that in to a Zorro slot. Just watching this power connection up this side. That's it. Yeah, the plate just needed feeding into a little gap. What's catching there now? It's like it doesn't want to go in. Oh God. It feels like it, for some reason it's not wanting to go into the slot here. That's it, it's in. I mean, just moving here, look how tight this stuff is here. So, you know, this is the thing, the ID cable's tight here. This power coming out of there is really, really tight. And it could now be a challenge trying to get this all back in here. Like, will that squeeze in there like that? Yeah, it will do, but I'm getting close to this top slot here. I think if I'm not careful, this is going to interfere with the A. It is. It looks like it's in line with this here now. That is a problem. Is there anything on that? Yeah, just a metal plate. But I've got to make sure that metal plate doesn't short all this stuff out here. Yeah, so I've got two here that are joined together, so I'm going to go with these. There's a slight gap. So, as I have a look here, the left is going to be the blue one. If I can get that on there. That's the blue one, left. And the right one is going to be, oh God, this is the problem with DuPonts. This is why I hate DuPonts. They're the sort of thing you can connect them once or twice and then they start to go slack. That's it. So, left is blue. Yeah, and apologies if you can't really see here because I've got this power wire in the way. But the, oh no, hang on, this going up between the power things. I don't want that. That should be it. So the Amiga audio should be going through that short DuPont to the point up here. Oh, it's going through the power thing. That's what I was trying to avoid. Let's pull it off again. So everything is in place there now. Just need to get some isolation here and get the 4091 back on. Let's try to gauge like how much I'm rubbing on it. God, I won't go in there. And if I have a look underneath it, yeah, it's very close to those power connections. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I mean, it can't touch technically. It's a good 3 or 4 millimeters off the top. I might show you that in a minute if I can get low enough down. Let's just pull it back out again and get it out. Yeah, this bit here is like 3 or 4 millimeters above. It's like that there, above the power connections. So there is clearance, but would you want to risk it? Oh God, I'm not being so stressed in ages. Right, I've just gone with 3 pieces of insulation tape here. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Right, let's get the wrist strap back on. Hopefully this will fit a bit better now. It still feels like it's going to be really tight, you know. Can't screw in the 4091. Doesn't really matter. It's well secured, but the screw, I don't know if you can see, the screw hole's like here in the middle and the thing's up here. Can't do anything about that. There's no alternative other than to maybe replace the compact flash adapter at some point and try get something different in there. So that's as good as I'm going to get. So the plate and the screw I'm going to stick into my bits. Look, I've got a little nice badge there, chrome badge 40060. Yeah, at some point I was going to stick that on the front, but do you know what, the one that's on it that just says 030, it looks so perfect. And let's give that a try, I think. Right, so before I get the lid back on, I've connected video and audio. The audio to the back of the Amigas. Right, it's power cycler. It often needs me to power it off and on before it will boot. I'm not sure it's seeing the compact flash card. We've got the background there, yeah, like a dark colour here, which shows me it probably has booted, but I don't think it's booting from the compact flash. Oh, and that'll be because the compact flash isn't in. That'll explain it entirely, won't it? Oh God. Right, booted up to the desktop. We've got our fast RAM. Let's go. I'm using my finger for the mouse here. Let's go into work. And let's go into bench. Just want to go sysinfo to have a look at what boards are reported. We've got which Amiga there, we can use that as well. But sysinfo should list them. Boards. Oh my God, I've got quite a few boards in this now, haven't I? So, yeah, everything's there. These are new ones. 2782, 2782, all those. 16, 17, 18 is the product ID. Those are, and maybe that one. No, that 72 there is the RAM on the Live 2 card. 16 meg is the A4091. The Matsays card, the BFG 9060, has 512k of a ROM there, I think, boot ROM. I think that's what that's for. And then the top two are the GBA P2++. So that's looking good, isn't it? Everything's there, I think. I'm just going to test to see if we get sound as default, because we may need the Amiga drivers, we may not got sound out. The Amiga sound, you know, might not be mixed properly here. And I think I'm going to sort the software out before I go and put the lid back on, actually. Yeah, so there should be music there, I think. And there ain't any. So I plugged the compact flash card there into my PC, and I started WinUAE with a 4000 configuration that matches my machine, and used that hard disk, you know, the compact flash as the hard disk for the machine. Copied across the Amiga drivers, expanded it into the RAM, and then you can see me here running through the install, just pretty much next, just carefully reading everything to make sure I've got the right settings. I think at the end of that process I may have had some sort of error or something where it didn't copy the libraries. It may have been that I needed a later version of the installer. Well, in theory the mixer should just work, shouldn't it, if it detects it. So if I go into Tools and I go into Mixer. Oh, that's good. Right, so Oh, there we go. Inputs Paula. External sound is covering all those, isn't it? So if we go like, let's maximise those. What mix does, I don't know. What does levels do? Let's do save. I heard some clicking then. I think the 4000, yeah, the 4000 is so loud I can't hear it. Right, that seems to be working. Let's try something else that I'm more familiar with. I tell you what, when I've got the lid off the 4000 here like this, it sounds so loud, it is unbelievable. Seems alright. I'm not sure about the left-right thing, you know. Let's just unplug the right one. No. Yeah. Unplug the left one. Now, if I'm honest, it sounds really weird. Like there's a filter applied, like I need some treble or some bass or something, I don't know. It doesn't sound normal to me. Maybe it's because I can't hear it, probably because of the stupid 4000 fan. I feel like I've got a phase issue going on. You know what I mean, if you're used to speakers, if you get the phase wrong, it sounds like one speaker's cancelling out the other. Mind you, the audio at the moment is different things coming from different sides, so that wouldn't work. I think it's just the fan that's putting me off. At this point, I'm convinced enough that it's working. We haven't actually heard any proper sound from it, but it's working in terms of the Paula stuff. So I'm going to get the lid back on. So let's just rotate that around and try and find the lid. And it's not looking too bad on the back here. Compact flash, scuzzy. Yeah, it's a wee bit scrunched up there because it doesn't come down as low. I haven't got a plate for that bottom card, which is annoying. Got a couple of Molex wires there, and there's our lovely sound card. Just got line in, got the audio out, and they got the optical out. Right, so there's not a massive amount to show you here, and I appreciate I should be doing direct captures, but you get the gist just from listening to it from a distance here. It is crystal clear. So if I go into, I'm using Hippo player here, there's a few different players. The mixer I've got in the startup, so you can see we've got a number of things here. We've got AHI sound, that's the equivalent of like direct sound from Windows if you think about it, and MHI, which is an extension of that I guess, which supports MP3 and stuff. So it's got hardware decoding of MP3s, it's got the AHI stuff, wave output as well, and an interesting thing there, it can do MIDI, but I need a MIDI driver. Maybe I might have a go at writing a MIDI driver for it, where you could actually direct MIDI calls or captures out to this card, because it has got the 32 channels there. It could do it. There is a MIDI play utility, I'll show you that, but it doesn't actually do anything. It sits there and does nothing, so I don't really know the purpose of that. And obviously you've got your external sound output, but you've got your external volume here, and you can mix each of these. So I think that just mixes the left and the right channel together, you know, because certainly with Paula you've got two channels on each side. You can mix them by a percentage if you want to, and sound inputs there, Paula's ticked as default, but you can have a CD-ROM and a line in. So I've got a CD-ROM, I might fit it in this video, might be a different video, and you've got these level things here, and you can have it on you know, you can change the update speed there from slow, normal, fast, but I just leave it on slow. And if I play an MP3 here, but I'll show you, hang on, Hippo player, hang on, I'm going to preferences, where is it? Here we go. On the Play 2 part here, I've got Enable MHI, and you select the library. So it sits in the libs folder, but in a MHI folder, a subfolder from there, MHI Amigos, and that comes as part of the install. You saw, I think, me install it before. I actually had some sort of error at the end, but I just copied the libraries across myself, and then everything just works. Yeah, MIDI mode. This is the thing with this player. It's expecting various different types of MIDI interface: to MIDI, GM play, or serial out, or background to MIDI. So I can't play MIDIs. I've tried that. I was hoping it would somehow go through AHI or something, but it doesn't. Anyway, now we've got that set there, I can play MP3. So if I play this, you can hear it sounds absolutely incredible. I better not play that for too long because I'll get a copyright strike on it. Now here I can't drag the slider to a further bit into the song. We can play mod files and things using this as well. If I just delete those, yeah, if I play a bit of Lotus 3 there, let's add that one in. Okay, let's play. Yeah, so you recognise this from Lotus 3, it's the first track of the game. Really nice. And that's probably using AHI at the moment, because if I go to one of the tabs here, the end one, AHI, Enable AHI, and I'm using that mode. So if I click that, from an AHI, it shows you all the different modes. So I've got all the Amigos ones there, a lot of different ones. But I just went for the highest, hi-fi 24-bit. Can't get my words out. Stereo. Sounds incredible though, it really does. There's no noise, you know, the noise floor is so low. You can't hear it at all. It's fantastic. Compared to the Prelude, this is twice as good, if you ask me. And you can see our volume levels bobbing up and down here. Yeah, sounds amazing. If I go into the other MP3 player, the one I usually use, which is Amiga Amp, and I had to update a few things here to get this working. I couldn't get into prefs originally, and I needed an updated, what's it called? The thing that adds these controls in here, I forget what it is. There's a specific library that gives you like drop-down boxes and check boxes and things like that. I can't right now remember what it was. It's mentioned in the actual README for this as a requisite, and the version I had was a bit out of date. Yeah, you specify the decoder in here, and it's a similar thing. MHI driver, MHI Amigos, and we can set it as hardware, and you know, you can play with the other options and things there. But, and I did that. I changed the loading buffer, I think, there, 256k. Everything else is pretty much the standard settings. Let's cancel that, just go in. So you'll have seen me test this before when we actually looked at the Prelude. Hang on, clicking the wrong button. So I followed Depeche Mode. We played some of that on the Prelude actually. Super clear. If I just fast forward on a bit, hang on. It's absolutely crystal clear, as you'd imagine CD, you know, MP3 CD quality almost would be. It's not as good as CD generally, but MP3. But it's not far off. You know, it's 192 kilobits per second, that one, 44 kilohertz, and it sounds it, is the point. It just sounds absolutely fantastic. I am so blown away with this. It's really good, and it was so easy to install. There was just literally nothing. The funny thing is about this video as well, I didn't even have to build it. Camados got these pre-assembled, so it's like, so I don't have to solder anything on it then. You saw me connect those two wires for the polar, you know, left and right into the card, and I found a cable for that. I'll show you that in a minute. But it just works. Now, the thing that I wasn't expecting at all was, let's say, a few things I've discovered. If I go into, where is it now? Games 1. Doom. I'll show you what I changed before. In fact, I'll change it back, because then you can hear the difference. If I go into Doom Attack Prefs, now this got me by surprise, this, on audio. So you can see there, I've got the DA Music MIDI plugin. Now this is the interesting thing. As far as I understand, I haven't got any MIDI settings on this. So we'll just do Doom Sound plugin, not the MIDI one. So I think that MIDI plugin on this is actually redirected to AHI, it may be the music channel in AHI, I suspect. So I don't think it's like rolling its own MIDI emulation. I don't think it's doing that. I don't think there'd be quite enough grunts maybe to do that as well as the game. But anyway, if I load that now, this is using AHI. So the first thing is, when I loaded it with AHI here, I noticed a big difference. The quality compared to, I'll put it on that, oh hang on, the monitor's having a mad moment there. Right, so you can hear that there. As far as I'm aware, that's coming from AHI. So, it's just changing that over. I could be mistaken, it could just be that AHI is so amazing that I can hardly, you know, I can't tell what the difference is. But anyway, if we change that now to that MIDI one, and this is what I was surprised at. Save. Launch it again. That sounds different. And if I start a new game, that is different. I'm sure of it. It's different instruments. So please explain how we have MIDI, and I'm not even sure I've got a MIDI driver installed. It must be coming through AHI. But doesn't that sound amazing? And this is an update. Consider this an update to the RTG. You can see I solved the problems with this resolution, and it just runs fantastic. It's incredible. Love it. It's thanks to all the guys and gals on my Discord that this has all, you know, happened really. Sound card and video. It's all thanks to those amazing people, Kavanos and Sparks and various other people that have contributed towards those things. Yeah, it sounds completely different. Let's just load where I was up to, which was level 4. In prefs, you get AHI here. And you get 4 different units. You've got a music unit, you can see them there, music unit, and then 4, you get 5 in total, 4 other units. And different programs will, in the README for them, often will tell you which sound unit it uses in AHI. Yeah, so the music unit, I'm not really sure what makes that a music unit. Maybe this is capable of MIDI. I don't know that I've got anything that uses this music unit. This is the thing. And just like you saw on that drop-down list before, I'm not sure we can resize this, can we? Oh, we can. Yeah, you can see the different drivers there. You can't read them on this screen resolution without stretching it right out. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different drivers. The ones I always used to use were these, Paula, you know, some of those that I used, but I've just gone for, on most of these, all of them in fact, I've gone through and set them all to 24-bit stereo plus AHI timing, and you just click save for each one of them. There are other settings and things you can change as well, but anyway, I've not needed to change any of those. So then most games and homebrew that is capable of using AHI, ScumVM being one of them. I'll just close that down, I'll put that back to 50 before I wonder why Paul sounded very quiet. So it's a similar thing with this, it's capable of using AHI, and it's a bit like that Doom, it's generating all of the melodies and things itself, you know, so the instruments, and it's simulating a MIDI background. So if I load Day of the Tentacle, let's just do that one. But I've got the frequency quite high, you know, I was never able to do this with Paula. So it sounds very PC-like. You know, very crisp and clear. The frequency is much higher than it was with Paula, because I was at that fast 14-bit mode with Paula previously. You do get the odd graphical glitch here as this scrolls across. It's just a bit of a bug, I think, with this version of ScumVM. I know it's at my 1200 too. But for the most part, solid. I played all the way through this, not this game, but Indiana Jones Fate of Atlantis, right to the end.
I'm thirsty. I don't think you should drink that.
And here's that cable I was talking about, I found. So yeah, it came with a cable for this. But we only connected two connections up, left and right. That's all we really needed. Hear the bass in the middle. No bass. Bass back. Testing on the 2000 here, you can hear the bass is really loud, and that's coming from that woofer down there. Test that same game on the 4000 now. I haven't changed the volume level or anything. I might need to just switch one of the switch boxes over. But if I load First Samurai here, this is where I noticed it, and I've just spent like half an hour messing around with my sound system here and the volume pot on it, thinking there's something wrong or that's wrong with the cable. But the issue is this phase issue. I came back to thinking about what Kavanos posted yesterday, saying he thought he'd found a phase issue. And I think so. I think the left and right somehow are out of phase with each other, which means one channel cancels out certain frequencies on the other one. And it just gives it an odd sound. We'll lose the bass. You can hear that? All I've done is switch the switch box over. And listen to this. If I unplug one of the channels, you hear the bass? Unplug the other channel, bass back, put both channels in. Finally makes sense. Yeah, so when both channels are connected at the same time, certain frequencies get lost because one's inverted versus the other, but only on a certain frequency range. So we lose the bass. You can hear there's no bass there. Just unplug one channel, the right channel. Can you hear that? Bass. So I spent quite some time messing around, and I spoke to Kavanos on Discord. You can see some screenshots here. Kavanos pointed out an issue with the connector on the 4000 for the phono connectors. This is the switched. If you've not got phonos plugged into the back of your Amiga 4000, and I think he said the 3000 works the same way, it's switched into a mono output mode. So that's the first issue. So once Kavanos helped me identify that's why I was having a phase issue, where it sounded like I was losing the bass, but it sounded like there was a phase issue. I was onto this phase issue. At that point there, the Amiga sound gained its bass back, and I'm like, oh, great, that's fixed, fine. And then I went back to the MP3 player and I started playing dance music again. So there's definitely a phase issue. I dug into it a bit more, I messed around with the speaker cables. So you've heard me say phase about 100 times through this video, no explanation of what I really mean. So we've got a speaker here. You've got a negative and a positive on the speaker. The way sound is usually generated, you have, let me just draw, if I draw a midline, you have positive swings and negative swings. So we've got almost a sine, that's like a sine wave. Pretend that's a sine wave. It should be a bit more, thinner and a bit higher. But you've got a sine wave, you have positive peaks and you have negative peaks. Most sound systems, for that reason, will have a positive supply to an op amp and a negative supply, and you get the full range, if you like, of your swings of your audio. That's a sine wave. If that sine wave was coming through this speaker, when you get the positive ramp here where it goes up, the diaphragm is pushed upwards, yeah, and when it comes down, it pulls it downwards, yeah, so it sort of sits in where it is now, in the middle. But if you were to get a negative spike like that right at the start, it'll pull back, yeah. And the way that works is with these positive and negative peaks at very high frequencies and things, it vibrates the diaphragm here, which vibrates air, and you hear that as sound. That's how a speaker works. Yeah, so that's a single channel. So consider now we've got stereo here. That's one channel. What's actually happening, and I'll show you this in a minute on the scope, that we generate a sine wave and I test it on the scope with two channels. So on the second channel of the scope, you'll see we get the inverse like this. So like as one channel is going up, the other one's going down. It's reversed phased, yeah. Now, one way that, from back in the day, from my experience, when I came across phase issues back in the day, it was often the speaker cables. If if you're familiar with those old speaker cables where you had a speaker and the wires, they go into those little clips. You just like put a clip and you put the wire into the clip on the back of the speaker unit. It's like a little plastic thing that you just bend over, and it allows you to push the wire in. And you do the same with the other one. You push the wire in. If you got those the wrong way, you could get a phase issue where one speaker is at the opposite phase of the other, and you get this scenario where, you know, if you were listening to a sine wave and you had a positive there, well, you've got a negative on the other channel, and because they're opposing each other, these frequencies, you know, these sounds, it cancels out. It's like two highs make a low, if you see what I mean, and two lows make a high, so you get an inverse thing, so it can sound quite unusual. And I think when we heard that dance music before, when I was listening to dance music on it and other sounds and things like on First Samurai, where you've got a bass line, that sound tends to be a central sound. What I mean is, on the Amiga, where you've got 4 channels, bass tones and things, they tend to go, oh, let's just play it with 2 channels there in the middle. Yeah, so you have independent sounds at the sides, but you have like a thumping bass noise in the middle, and that's what was going on First Samurai. Now, because of that bass thing, yeah, you imagine the bass coming through inverted on the second channel. It wipes itself out. The other 2 channels on Paula, the ones that are at the sides there, they're doing different instruments, so it doesn't matter that the phase is you know, different, if you see what I mean. You'll get this issue where it massively reduces the volume, where you get an identical overlap on the 2 channels. I'm like, well, if it's not at the speaker level, it must be internal to the sound card. In other words, for the cable that comes out of the Amigos, they're already out of phase there. So I looked at the schematics, and lo and behold, I show you the page here. I think Stefan sent a screenshot of this to Oliver, the person who's been working on this, and we've had some feedback straight away that he said he's going to try and fix it in the FPGA, because the source of all the programmatic sound that's processed, you know, it's formed into bit streams and fed through this PCM chip and out to the op amps. I'm not sure that's going to completely solve it. I've dropped Ian Scott Johnson a message with a picture of the diagram as well, just to ask him the question, because my thoughts are it's probably going to need the pins swapping round on the output there for either one of the channels, whichever one's wrong. One of them's wrong. I don't know which one it is looking at it, because I'm not that hot on op amp circuits, but what I am thinking is you've got to get the signal right in relation to, you know, your positive and negative swing on that signal, the input to it. So I think even if it's bit flipped, you know, at origin, I'm not so sure it's going to be within the right decibel range or something. There might be a difference between the 2 channels, even if they are in phase. So anyway, we'll see what comes back with that. If I've got an answer, I'll cover it in this video, but I think the next thing we're going to do is take that card out, swap those 2 output pins around on 1 channel. Yeah, and this is why I think it needs the 2 pins to be flipped on the board. Firmware's not going to fix this perfectly, because can you see the peak here is shorter on 1 channel than the other. So let's swap these around and see if we've got the opposite issue. The yellow, I would have a theory that it goes smaller. Yeah, you can see a difference already. So the characteristics of the op amps, because you've got a negative voltage and a positive on each side of the op amp pairs there, when you've got the signal the wrong way around, it treats the signal slightly differently. So you can see now the yellow is shorter instead of the blue. So there's a difference between the 2 channels there. And in terms of this signal, it's affecting it that way. But you may get a clipping or a sort of, you know, an unusual point at the extremes here, where it's not really handling the signal ideally. Let me just see if we can change the sign to something else. Right, that's 10 kHz square. Let's just do auto. It's supposed to be square, that. How is that a square? That's weird. Maybe it's not. That looks like sine. Yeah, see this here? That's not right. That is not right. Let's just try and turn it off. So I think, yeah, sine. I think it's that software, because we've got a sine and a sine. But you see, look at this here. You've got channel 1, it's divisions of 5 volts. Channel 2, divisions of 5 volts. We've got a volume mismatch. We've definitely got a volume mismatch, which is a given if your voltage is around the other way on the output of the op amps. For firmware, it will fix the phase issue, and it may sound almost normal, but it won't be completely fixed. So, oh, so annoying. I need to take my machine to pieces, and we need to do a mod. We need to flip those 2 connections around. Right, wrist strap on. But I'm going to lift whichever one of these chips it is. I'm thinking it's one of these ones here. It's probably going to be that, it's nearest the op amps. Probably going to just lift that with hot air. Lift the 2 pins up. Try and find places to put wires. Might be able to go direct to these resistors here, actually thinking about it, rather than try and solder to the pads that are on the board there. But it might need to go to one of the caps. It might go through a cap first. And I'll just try and do the mod that way. You know, stick it back down with its 2 pins lifted up. And all being well, in 20 minutes I might be able to get it back in the machine and we can scope it again and go, yay, it's fixed, the phase is right, the voltages are right, fantastic. And I'm going to tell Stefan to pass a message on to Oliver, please don't do a firmware update, because all it's going to do is complicate things. Anyone who wants to fix it properly is going to have then a new latest firmware that changes the phase again, you know. So maybe he can have an alternative one. If he thinks, you know, and it will fix the phase issue. The FPGA change will fix the phase issue. What it won't do is deal with the voltage mismatch. Yeah? So it may sound pretty damn good with a slight voltage mismatch. It's better that it's 100%. My advice is not to do the FPGA firmware fix. Yeah, I think the board's probably a 4-layer board. It's absorbing a lot of heat. My crappy hot air station, I think it's just not quite up to the job. So let's take advantage of the bit of flux that's already there. As soon as this gets to temperature, we'll add a tiny bit of low melt. There's not much space to solder in there, though, is there? With these caps. I can see me having to remove these caps here in order to try and get the iron at the right angle, but no, might be alright. Right, let's clean with the cotton bud. Yeah, that's not so bad. So I don't see any damage there, I just see lots of flux. So I guess the next thing is, let's move that out of the way. So I'll get some flux onto my braid. It also doesn't help that I've got a braid, which is huge. Just gently, gently, gently. You don't want to pull anything out of place, but anyway, that's that side done. (17 and 18), 15, 16, 17 and 18, 20 to leave 2 pins on the end and bend 2 pins up. Not for the faint-hearted. I can't even see where those are. Am I on that pin? Yeah. So we're gonna bend that up like that, and we're gonna bend that. I think what's the worst that could happen? I have to get a new chip. There we go, they're bent high enough for me there. Right, that's it, I've confirmed. There are no shorts. The shorts down here is like 1, 2, 3 are joined together. I think 8, 10, 11, 12 or something like that are joined together. I've just looked on the pin out. They're supposed to be on the schematics, that is. So our 2 wires are joined up. They're flipping the connections round. They're not bridged together. But it's very fluxy round there. Can you see that? We've got loads of flux still. So I'm going to dip this end in the ultrasonic cleaner. now. I'm going to get 3 plastic screws through here with nuts on, as Kavanagh showed. And I mentioned in annotations, don't put metal screws because you go into the different layers and you create shorts between layers there, so don't do that. You may want to get some heatsink compound or some, thermal compound under these first. But they don't get that hot, they just get lukewarm, because it doesn't pull much in the way of current on any of those power rails there. But anyway, if I ultrasonic this, that should get rid of all the flux around there. I can then just blow dry it. And I may, I'm going to get some hot melt glue. I'm going to stick some hot melt glue over the top of that and then just melt it down, and a little bit on those 2 wires. Bear in mind, when the caps are on here, that area's kind of protected anyway. So you're not going to just immediately knock into it, certainly if these are glued down. So that's the approach I'm going to go with. And I'll only fit the caps back on at that point as well when we've just cleaned up. Right, so I've got 3 plastic screws here and 3 plastic nuts. I'm not sure if these are going to be long enough to go through. Let's just see. Yeah, it's just long enough to go through. So we'll put the nuts on the... Hang on, let's think about this. The nuts on the other side, actually. On the underside. Just because you want it to stand up a little bit more on one side than the other, it wants to be this side where the things stand up. Right, cap's back on there. So let's get it in and give it a try. Right, finally, I was highly stressed then. Channel 2 was off. So I saw one channel, I'm like, oh my god, why is one channel not working? But watch now, switch channel 2 on. They're overlaid perfectly. Switch channel 1 off. There we go. And we've got a sine wave. Oh, thank god for that. They're in phase. We've got good amplitude. I think problem solved. This was the biggest test. Can you hear the bass? The bass is back. Noticeable. Because bass seems to be one of those things. Someone might know the scientific reason. That when you have a phase issue, the bass is the first to go. Don't know why. Like I say, I'm not scientific enough, but that is working there. So if I switch these off, hang on, switch the music off. So which one's that? That's left. Yeah, left on, right on, right on. All channels working. There's a glitch with this and you can hear it there. Pilot pointed this out. When I was testing it, when we had a square wave, then we had a sine, and one was a sine, one was a square. It's glitchy. So when you go in and out of there, doing the individual sound channels, that's the issue. Right, I'm going to boot from hard disk and test my MP3s. I'm hoping we've got a bass line. Right, Amiga amp again. Let's try my nice Hadaway. It's got a really good bass line. Just fast forward it along a bit. Hopefully you can hear the bass there. Yeah, so I've done a lot of testing off camera and it sounds fantastic. I may do a follow-up if you're interested. Do you want me to do some direct captures? Perhaps give me some examples of things you want me to test. But it's flawless as things stand for me here. Now, I let the authors know on GitHub that I'd found this problem, and they've posted saying, oh, we're aware of this, this is something on A1K. I wasn't aware of that, and I don't think any of the guys in my Discord were aware of that. So yeah, there is this phase issue. I don't know what's been said on the A1K forum. Ian Scott Johnson got back to me, as I say, kindly, on a few different occasions and said, try swapping the connections around. That was his first thought. And that's my first thought. I think an update from FPGA, one of the things I'm not sure about, and someone more experienced, including the guys that designed this, they may know the answer to this. If it was just an FPGA fix, surely that'd be a really quick, easy change. And the fact that they have not released it yet makes me think there's a bit more to it in terms of maybe got a mod to the op-amp stage or something. My basic understanding of op-amps, thinking, depending on which way round you got your positive and negative, you can get slight variation, certainly when you've got it only wired one way for one channel. You see what I mean? I might have this wired the wrong way round now, but because both of my channels are wired this way, they both sound correct, they're both at the same level, etc. But there may be an amplitude difference. If I was to swap 17 and 18 back and then swap the other channel, we may find there's more amplification or something. I don't know. I don't know enough about op amps. It's the sort of thing that, let's say, Ian Scott Johnson or Dave Jones would know. It may have no bearing at all. It may be entirely possible to use the FPGA to flip the phase. So a massive thanks to Cavanos for organising the manufacture of these boards and sending them across, and for donating, you know, in part to the channel with this. And Sparks UK, CRG, check out Glenn's channel because he'll probably do a video on one of these. TRU, Pillock, Carlos Jackal, Tom Meads, Mafitzi, and Cathas. Thank you ever so much, guys. I've really enjoyed looking at this card. I didn't really enjoy doing the mod. That mod took me about 2.5 hours and it really stressed me out. But you know what? That's just because I was impatient. When I was told there'll be a firmware update for it, I'm like, I don't think a firmware update will entirely fix it for me. I could be wrong. I can always revert that really easy. It's just a case of removing 2 wires and soldering down 2 pins. That's really easy. It'll take 2 minutes to do that. It goes without saying, the amazing work from Oliver Acton. I'm useless at some pronunciation. And the Christoph Fastback. Yeah, without those guys, obviously this wouldn't exist. It's an incredible project. They've done an amazing job with it. Yes, there's this one tiny little glitch, but it's just a little glitch. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, I do hope you found that video interesting. If you'd like to support the channel, please see the Ko-fi and Patreon links down below. I'll catch you in the next video.